Hello, this is my presentation on All the Things You Are by Jerome Kern. Historical context. All the Things You Are was composed in 1939 by Jerome Kern with lyrics by Oscar Hammerstein II for the Broadway musical Very Warm for May. Though the show itself was not a major success, it closed after just 59 performances. It served as the unlikely birthplace for one of the most enduring songs of the Great American Songbook. The number was originally performed by Hiram Sherman, Frances Mercer, and Hollis Shaw, and while the musical faded into obscurity, All the Things You Are quickly took on a life of its own. It was first picked up by popular dance bands of the day and then gradually embraced by jazz musicians who found its rich harmonic progressions ideal for improvisation. It's a rare example of a song that transcended the failure of its original context to become a standard across multiple genres. At this time of its composition, American music was undergoing major transitions. The late 1930s marked the height of the swing era, with big bands led by the likes of Benny Goodman, Duke Ellington, and Count Basie dominating the dance halls. Yet there was also a growing appetite for more harmonically adventurous and emotional music, both in popular songs and emerging jazz idioms. Kern and Hammerstein were veterans of musical theater, and their collaboration on this song reflects a deep understanding of both classical technique and popular appeal. Kern, trained in European classical music, brought a level of harmonic sophistication that set him apart from many of his peers, while Hammerstein's lyrics added a poetic resonance and emotional depth. The cultural atmosphere of 1939 was also charged with uncertainty. World War II was beginning in Europe, and though the United States had not yet entered the conflict, the mood was tense and reflective. In this context, All the Things You Are struck a chord with listeners as a deeply romantic and idealistic piece, almost a kind of musical escape or a longing for beauty amid turbulent times. Musical structure. All the Things You Are stands out in the American Songbook for its unusually intricate and elegant form. While most popular songs of the era follow a standard 32-bar AABA structure, Kern opted for a more elaborate 36-bar format in this composition. It can be described as a ABCA or an ABCD, with the final A section extended by a coda that adds a sense of completeness and symmetry. The structural decision isn't just cosmetic, it mirrors the song's complex harmonic journey and gives it a more developed sense of form. The length and shape of the melody allow for sweeping lyrical lines that unfold over a harmonically rich landscape, giving singers and instrumentalists plenty of room for expression. One of the most remarkable aspects of the form is how seamlessly it navigates through multiple key centers. The piece begins in A-flat major, but it doesn't stay there for long. It moves through a series of modulations that shift up by major thirds. From A-flat major to C major, then E-flat major, and eventually touches G major before resolving. These shifts are achieved primarily through 2-5-1 progressions, the cornerstone of jazz harmony, but Kern uses them in such a way that the transitions feel natural rather than jarring. This constant key movement is part of what gives the song its dreamy, floating quality. It never seems to settle for long, much like the idealized love described in the lyrics. From a melodic standpoint, the tune mirrors this harmonic elegance. The melody is broad, lyrical, and incredibly singable despite its complexity. The intervals often reflect the harmonic motion beneath them, giving the tune a kind of internal coherence that feels both intuitive and sophisticated. Each section builds on the last, culminating in a final phrase that lands back in the home key, giving the listener a satisfying sense of return. Harmonic analysis. The harmony of All the Things You Are is one of the key reasons it's become a cornerstone in jazz education and performance. What sets this song apart as its sophisticated tonal architecture, its seamless series of modulations through multiple key centers that still manages to sound lyrical and natural. At its core, the song is built on a succession of 2-5-1 progressions, which are the fundamental harmonic building blocks in jazz. However, Kern uses them in a particularly inventive way. Instead of Instead of remaining within a single key, the song transitions through several key centers, mostly by major third relationships. The tune opens up in A flat major with a 2-5-1, but right away begins moving through different tonal areas. From A flat, it shifts up a major third to C major, then again up to E flat major, and later it briefly touches G major before eventually circling back to the original key. Each transition is prepared with a 2-5-1 progression, making the modulations feel smooth and logical. This harmonic tour through different tonal centers creates a sense of motion and elevation, as if the music is constantly ascending or expanding, echoing the lofty romantic ideals. Another striking feature is the way that the harmony plays with expectation. For example, just as the ear settles into a new key, it's gently pulled towards the next modulation. This prevents the song from becoming static or predictable. The final 8 bars serve as a kind of return home, both melodically and harmonically, resolving back to A flat major with a satisfying cadence. Because of this rich harmonic movement, All the Things You Are is often studied in jazz theory classes to demonstrate voice leading, modulation techniques, and extended harmony. It's sometimes called a harmonic textbook disguised as a ballad. Despite its complexity, the harmony never feels academic. It flows with a grace that reflects Kern's genius for writing music that is structurally intelligent and emotionally resonant. Lyrics and poetic imagery. The lyrics to All the Things You Are, written by Oscar Hammerstein II, are a beautiful example of poetic lyricism in American popular song. At first glance, the words seem simple, romantic sentiments expressing admiration for a loved one, but there's a deeper, almost philosophical dimension to the way Hammerstein constructs the imagery. Each line builds up upon the last to portray not just a person, but an ideal. The song becomes less about describing someone in the present moment and more about envisioning a kind of emotional and spiritual destination. The opening line, "You are the promised kiss of springtime that makes the lonely winter seem long," is rich in metaphor. Spring, representing renewal and hope, is used here to symbolize the warmth and promise of the beloved, while winter evokes loneliness and longing. These seasonal contrasts immediately pull the listener into a world of emotional stakes. The next line continues this build-up. "You are the breathless hush of evening that trembles on the brink of a lovely song." These aren't literal descriptions, these are romantic abstractions meant to elevate the beloved into a symbol of beauty and emotional transcendence. What makes the lyrics especially powerful is how they align with the song's harmonic motion. Just as the music moves through the unexpected modulations and resolves in satisfying ways, the lyrics evolve from metaphors into a declaration of timeless love. Lyrics, "Someday I'll know that moment divine when all the things you are mine." There's a sense of yearning built into the song's structure, with the final lines grounding all of the previous imagery in the hope of eventual emotional fulfillment. It's not just a love song, it's a vision of love as something that's almost spiritual, something to be waited for and fully realized in the future. Influence in jazz. All the Things You Are holds a special place in the world of jazz, arguably more so than in the world of musical theater where it first appeared. While many Broadway songs have been adopted into the jazz canon, few have achieved the same level of respect, study, and repeated reinterpretation as this one. From the 1940s onward, jazz musicians were drawn to the tune's rich harmonic progressions, which provided a perfect framework for improvisation. Its unique structure and constant modulations offered something more sophisticated than the standard Tin Pan Alley song forms, making it an ideal canvas for melodic interpretation and harmonic exploration. The song quickly became a favorite in jam sessions and jazz recordings, particularly due to the bebop era, where musicians were actively pushing the boundaries of harmony and improvisational techniques. Artists like Charlie Parker, Dizzy Gillespie, and Bud Powell used the tune as a springboard for solos. Notably, Charlie Bird Parker even used even used the chord changes of All the Things You Are to compose a bebop head titled Birds of Paradise, which we would call a contrafact. This kind of reinterpretation, taking a well-known song's chord changes and writing a new melody over them, is a hallmark in jazz creativity and speaks to the tune's harmonic integrity. Even in the modern jazz era, the song remains a staple. From John Coltrane to Keith Jarrett and even Brad Meldau, generations of musicians have used it to showcase their harmonic fluency and lyrical phrasing. Notable recordings. Over the decades, All the Things You Are has been recorded by a wide range of artists, each bringing their own interpretations and style to the tune. The earliest widely heard version was by Tommy Dorsey and his orchestra in 1939 with vocals by Jack Leonard. This rendition helped introduce the song to a broader radio audience and set the tone for how the tune would be received in the popular sphere. Shortly after, vocalists like Mildred Bailey, Frank Sinatra, and Joe Stafford recorded their own interpretations, emphasizing the song's romantic qualities. But it was in the jazz world that the tune truly blossomed. Charlie Parker, known for his rapid-fire bebop improvisations, recorded a version with strings that reimagined the tune in a lush, orchestrated context. Art Tatum, one of the most technically brilliant pianists in jazz history, recorded a solo version that demonstrates both harmonic mastery and creative reharmonization. He turns the tune into a virtuosic display while still preserving its emotional core. In more modern jazz, artists like Keith Jarrett and his Standards Trio have performed the tune in live settings, often stretching into extended improvisations that highlight the tune's harmonic flexibility. Jarrett's version is especially notable for how he deconstructs the form in real time, yet always returns to recognizable themes. Brad Meldau is an example of a contemporary artist who has also explored the tune, often using it to experiment with rhythm and texture along with reharmonization. These recordings reflect the song's adaptability. It works as a ballad, a bebop vehicle, a vocal showcase, or a modern jazz exploration. Ella Fitzgerald. Ella Fitzgerald's interpretation of All the Things You Are from her 1963 album, Ella Fitzgerald Sings the Jerome Kern Songbook, stands as one of the most elegant and definitive vocal versions of the tune. The album was part of her legendary songbook series in which she paid tribute to the great American composers, including Cole Porter, Duke Ellington, and the Gershwins, and of course, Jerome Kern. The Kern Songbook was arranged and conducted by Nelson Riddle, one of the most accomplished orchestrators of the mid-20th century, known for his lush, sophisticated backing arrangements. In Ella's version, the focus is on lyrical clarity and phrasing. She doesn't rely on vocal gymnastics or heavy improvisation. Instead, she delivers the melody with great timing and emotional control, allowing the nuances of Hammerstein's lyrics and Kern's harmonies to shine. Her tone is warm, her diction is crisp, and her slight melodic inflections enhance the natural beauty of the tune without changing its structure. This approach is especially effective for a song like All the Things You Are, where the emotional weight lies not just in the words, but also the harmony. Nelson Riddle's orchestra provides a gentle cushion under Ella's voice, and soft strings, restrained woodwinds, and a subtle harmonic support that follows the modulations without drawing attention away from Fitzgerald. The tempo is moderate, giving the song a sense of romantic contemplation rather than a dramatic flair found in some jazz interpretations. Ella's version showcases her strength as a vocal interpreter, someone who could take even a harmonically complex tune and make it sound completely natural. It's not a radical reinterpretation, it's a masterclass in elegance and respect for the original material. Oscar Hammerstein's lyrical contribution. Oscar Hammerstein II's contribution to All the Things You Are is essential to what makes the song so enduring. Known for his emotionally sincere and poetic language, Hammerstein brought a uniquely lyrical sensibility to American musical theater and song. In this piece, he crafts a lyric that is both deeply romantic and subtly philosophical. Unlike many love songs that focus on physical attraction or immediate desire, All the Things You Are speaks to a more timeless kind of love. A vision of someone not just as they are in the moment, but as the fulfillment of hope and longing. Hammerstein was especially skilled at creating lyrics that feel both personal and universal. Lines like, "You are the angel glow that lights a star, the dearest things I know are what you are," elevate the symbol of beauty and wonder. There's a sense of spiritual elevation here, as if love itself is something cosmic and eternal. These aren't just compliments, they're aspirations. This poetic abstraction mirrors the way the music lifts and modulates from key to key, always rising towards something beyond reach. In fact, the lyrics don't fully resolve until the final line, when "all the things you are mine," which shifts the dreamy qualities of the previous lines into a very human and emotional conclusion. What's especially remarkable is how Hammerstein's lyrics fit perfectly with Jerome Kern's complex harmonic structure. He matches the song's musical flow with natural speech rhythms, avoiding forced rhymes or awkward phrasing. His lines glide over Kern's key changes with elegance, giving singers something meaningful to express, even as they navigate a harmonically demanding melody. It's a testament to Hammerstein's craft that his lyrics feel so effortless, even when placed atop one of the most sophisticated musical frameworks. The combination of poetic imagination, emotional depth, and technical precision is a hallmark of Hammerstein's work. Use in education and theory. All the Things You Are is widely regarded as one of the most important and versatile songs in jazz education and music theory curriculum. It's often one of the first complex standards that students encounter, like myself, when learning about jazz harmony, chord scale relationships, and melodic development over modulating forms. Because of its smooth transitions through 4 different key centers and its reliance on the 2-5-1 progression, it offers a comprehensive exercise in voice leading, harmony, and long-form musical phrasing. In theory classes, the song is frequently analyzed for its harmonic structure. It demonstrates key concepts like modulation by thirds, secondary dominance, tonicization, and diatonic substitution. Teachers use it to illustrate how complex harmonic movement can still feel natural and coherent. Students might be asked to write out Roman numeral analysis, identify cadences, or create their own reharmonizations, all using All the Things You Are as a base. The tune's clean and sophisticated harmonic layout makes it an ideal model for studying how to construct chord progressions that sound both logical and emotionally resonant. In jazz programs, the song is equally central. Students often learn to improvise over its changes as a way to develop their understanding of harmony and motion. Because it moves through multiple tonal centers, soloing over the tune requires a strong grasp of arpeggios, scales, and voice leading across different keys. It's a gateway tune for learning to navigate more complex forms beyond the blues or rhythm changes. Many improvisers and composers also study this tune as a springboard for writing original material, sometimes borrowing the progression and writing a new melody. Like we discussed earlier, in practice, this is known as a contrafact. Ultimately, the song functions as a kind of musical Rosetta Stone. It's beautiful, practical, technically rich, and emotionally compelling. Whether studied by vocalists, instrumentalists, composers, or theorists, All the Things You Are continues to be one of the most valuable and musically satisfying songs in American music and education. Finally, cultural legacy. All the Things You Are has endured for over 80 years, not just as a beautiful piece of music, but as a cultural artifact. The song that represents the enduring elegance and sophistication of American songwriting at its best. Though it originated in a relatively obscure Broadway show, it has long outlived its theatrical beginnings to become a cornerstone of the Great American Songbook. The song has appeared in numerous films, recordings, and performances, often chosen for its emotional richness and harmonic beauty. It's been featured in television shows, used in concert repertoires by symphonies and jazz big bands, and reinterpreted by generations of vocalists and instrumentalists. Whether performed in a smoky jazz club or at Carnegie Hall, the song always carries a sense of timeless romanticism. Beyond performance, All the Things You Are has become a kind of shared language among musicians. In jam sessions around the world, it's a go-to tune, a common reference point that players can go to gauge each other's harmonic ear, improvisational ability, and musical taste. It's also a symbol of artistic excellence, the kind of tune that requires technical skill to play well, yet rewards the player with emotional payoff. Its enduring presence in jazz fake books and real books and professional recordings speaks to its unique place in the musical canon. In short, All the Things You Are is not just a song, it's a tradition, a teaching tool, a standard, and a masterpiece all rolled into one. Thank you.